Fishermen and Friends of the Sea is warning all seafarers and fisherfolk from the Cocorite, Charlieville, Felicity, Brickfield, Orange Valley, Carli Bay and Claxton Bay to exercise caution and be on the lookout for very large volumes of this thick black oil. On Saturday, oil was seen on the southern side of the entire North Western Peninsula in the vicinity of 5 islands, Carrera Island and Gasparee Island. FFOS said today it received fresh reports that the sea of oil is heading in a southeasterly direction in the Gulf of Paria and has already arrived just outside Cocorite. It says the oil now stretches from Scotland Bay to Cocorite. Well, the oil spilled in Chaguaramas has identifying markers, and the president or the vice president of the Trinidad and Tobago Incoming Tour Operators Association, Stephen Broadbridge, wants the people responsible to be prosecuted.
Oil is like a fingerprint. You can tell exactly where the oil came from because no oil is the same. If oil comes from one well, it's completely different to oil from another well. They can do it. It's almost like there's a fingerprint for oil, and they can very, very easily determine the source of the oil. And I would like to see a prosecution. I'd like it to be public.
He says a spill such as this has many negative effects, both in the long term and short term. Mr. Broadbridge explains, initially the oil shall coat the skins, feathers and scales of wildlife getting stuck in the spaces, pores, nostrils, mouths, and eventually into their digestive and blood tracts, not to mention the fish kill that will occur. The oil also damages and destroys boats, engines, ropes and mooring features. But Mr. Broadbridge is nervous about the cleanup, saying that the chemicals used can be very problematic as they are quite toxic.
Oil spills in Trinidad, they are far more common than we care to believe, but the smaller unnoticed ones are regular, are getting into our ecosystem and into our food chain. And it doesn't just stop at the oil, it's also the cleanup. Some of the chemicals they use for, I hesitate to call it cleanup, sometimes they just they use chemicals that cause the oil just to sink to the ocean floor. It's not actually removed from the ecosystem, and that happens on a lot of the spills in Trinidad. So out of sight, out of mind.
He is calling for transparency in the cleanup for the safety of the animals and human life. The chemical Cocorite, he says, was used in the cleanup of the spill in 2010 off the coast of Mexico, and a new study by researchers at the University of Alabama and Birmingham suggests that this oil dispersant used during the cleanup of the BP disaster is capable of causing damage to humans and marine animals alike.